welcome Hugh to our weekly interview. And I wanted to present Hugh Groman to everyone, the man, the myth, the legend, the Hugh Groman Group, famous and infamous in the Bay Area.
Certainly infamous. Hi, Richard.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good today. You caught me on a good day, so that's a good thing.
Good, excellent. So what I wanted to do today on this week's program is go over some of tips and tricks that you have for smaller events that you're doing, and just want to get some of your insights for those type of events that you might be doing over summer. I know you do a lot of big events, but small events are du jour these days.
We did a lot of big events, and then we will do them again in the future.
Yes, coming soon. But in the meantime, we have these smaller events. So tell me a little bit about what are these small events that folks are inquiring about that you're doing?
Well, right now, thank God, it's graduation season. On one hand, it's disappointing that we can't be, full steam ahead with May and June events, but it's also great that people really are looking for ways of celebrating graduations and birthdays and things like that right now. So we did a tiny little dinner party for somebody's birthday.
Wow.
We just did a big graduation event yesterday. And there's some real important elements to consider in planning these events. And we're also planning some outdoor weddings. And I'm trying to synthesize all the information that's out there and really focus on what are the biggest priorities around keeping people safe. What do we really need to do so everybody feels good about it? And, my staff, the customer, and the guests.
So tell me a little bit, what are you doing in regards to the guests? Walk me through, what does the event look like?
Sure. Well, one option, of course, is more of a drop-off situation. And we've been researching picnic baskets on the internet. I've got 3 different styles so far. So, it's a way of, if you're going to do prepared foods, packing them up in the picnic baskets, whether it's for just one small family or whether it's for, some groups of people who are all socially distancing. We can send multiple picnic baskets where the food's already been divided up. And, we can get into real detail with that, where each basket might have a bottle of chilled wine and, plates and napkins and so forth. So it's really super easy to just hand one out to each person or each pod. Mm-hmm. And that's like the easiest, simplest way to do it, most affordable. Then on another level, we did for this birthday dinner there's just one chef. She set up a little remote kitchen outside with a propane grill, and there was a buffet. And in that case, she just did the buffet. She put a linen on the buffet table. She laid out the food, and then the guests did their own thing. Like, they set their own table. They went to the buffet. They got food. They sat back down. They cleaned up their own table. They handled all that. So it's not like the service that we're accustomed to giving, but it allowed them to do something special and different and have some like freshly prepared food by a chef in the backyard of their home.
Got it. Okay, interesting. So
Sorry, I'm going on and on. But just to answer your question more fully, the next level is situations where we've actually got staff on site and we're providing service. And we did that just a couple days ago. We set up a bar, but instead of the usual bar you're used to seeing where the works table is usually in the front, the work table was in the back, and it was quite a good, comfortable distance so that the bartender was never trapped. Okay. And then in the front, there was a blank table with the flowers and the bar menu, and the customers just came up and asked, or the guests came up and asked for drinks, and then the bartender could bring them and just put them down on the table, wearing a mask, wearing gloves,
right?
Put them down on the table, and then the person can pick them up. And that gives, because we're really, one of my biggest concerns is making sure the staff walks away feeling good about it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And just to be super clear, this was all outside. Right. We're really focusing on outside events this summer.
Okay. And then I was thinking about, you mentioned weddings. So thinking about the weddings, walk me through that. I imagine it's going to be outside, but is there going to be social distancing amongst the guests?
Yeah. We're working on a couple of things. We've got, the idea is when the guests arrive, in this case, it's 2 brides. This is our next wedding. They're at a table in the center, And then in a circle around them, there are tables for each pod. So in some cases, it's just a single person at a table because that they're socially isolating, on their own. And then in some cases, it's a family of like 5 or 4 or 3. Everyone has their own table. There's a picnic basket filled with hors d'oeuvres and dinner already on the table when they get there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
And then there's that same bar set up. And it's everything spread out. And the idea is everyone can kind of stay in their own space. And then, the brides will be in the center and the ceremony is going to take place in the center. So there's like a radial connection between the guests of honor and each pod. They can, talk and connect. And then, at that point, it's up to the guests how they want to handle it. Like if everybody decides they're not wearing masks because they're all friends, like I don't have a lot of control over that, but I can set up a situation outdoors, which already, the current wisdom is that outdoors is a huge step in the right direction. Each table 6 feet away. And, and if people choose to wear masks and kind of stick to that, I feel really comfortable and good about the situation we've created for them.
Right. That's great. And then I know I'm hearing that a lot of people can't be, say, at the wedding. Are you doing anything to incorporate people that, grandma that couldn't come?
Yeah. In this case, I've got Airson Bartle, and she's, DJ Airson, and she's doing both the music throughout the day. And she's got her own little corner of the space so she can be separate. And then she's got a TV screen, 32 inches, I think we're doing. And that's going to allow some Zoom interaction. There's going to be filming of the brides so that the out-of-town guests will be able to see all that. And then there's actually, I think, somebody singing from out of town, and they're going to be performing on the screen.
Well, that's phenomenal.
So,
this is so wow. So I'm really impressed. So it sounds you're really on the cutting edge of doing all these things. So this is fantastic that you're doing this interview because we can share it with other people. And because I know a lot of speaking to caterers that are not as big as you, where they're struggling to figure out what to do and they're a little overwhelmed. Or so this is really terrific to hear that you're actually thriving in this environment.
I mean, that thriving is a strong word, Richard, but I am, I've had some dark moments and some really, I was losing perspective. I've lost perspective many times in the last 3 months. But I've had some wonderful friends and loved ones who've kind of given me pep talks or talking tos. And, I'm naturally optimistic and sometimes I lose sight of that, but I think it's important to, oh, that's so funny. I think my dog just came through for a second there. So I'm naturally optimistic, and I'll tell you one of the ways in which I get through. It's Trixie.
Oh, there we go. Hey, Trixie.
Okay, Trixie's actually, we're going to be doing on Tuesday mornings at 10 on Instagram Live. We're going to do a Trixie Tuesdays with Trixie every 10 a.m. on Instagram Live, so you can check that out.
I like tips and tricks with Trixie. It sounds,
It's Tuesdays with Trixie, and just, talking about dog love and hopeful quotes and, hopeful things, because we need hope. But
that's great. So I wanted to ask you just one last question. I know, I think it was Cater Source last year in New Orleans. Were you the one that was looking to buy that popcorn machine or something?
I bought a donut machine.
Oh, donut machine. That's what it was, right? And
that actually would be a good thing. We can do that. As long as we can have an electrical outlet, we can have somebody running the donut machine and then putting the donuts out. And another way we were doing food is, aside from picnic baskets, we had that same kind of reverse bar where there's a menu on a table in front. Guests come up to the table. They ask, there's a menu of like hors d'oeuvres, and that there's a chef sort of a bit off in the distance, about 6 or 7 or 10 feet, saying, would you like a little bit of everything on a plate? And they say yes, or they say, no, I need only the gluten-free stuff, or, I don't eat shrimp. And then the chef just goes back, or maybe there's 2 people working the station, and there's somebody just with gloves and a mask on, taking the things and putting them on a little plate, and then with gloves, that's just putting that on that table, and then the guests can grab it from the table. So it's definitely, we've got a couple of options that we're working with, but the key right now is outdoors, not too big events, smaller events, of course. And and then just, you know, creating environments where no one feels trapped or uncomfortable. My number one goal is after the event, I want everyone to say, wow, we really felt good about how that went. And felt safe and taken care of. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Great. Well, that's really good. Well, I didn't have any other questions unless there was anything else you wanted to bring up.
Well, how are you doing?
Side. Having a lot of fun doing this show once a week that goes out to the world. So not used to interviewing folks. So definitely learning to do new things in this new era, which is a lot of fun. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Richard.
Enjoyed it. We'd love to have you back on the show sometime as well. And maybe we'll do a little filming at one of your outdoor events.
Oh, yeah. What about Trixie, though? Is she invited back?
Trixie's always invited back.
Here, Trixie wants to say goodbye.
Always invited back. I like the growling.